And let's make sure we make a lot of noise. Help me welcome to the stage the very funny, my good friend, Liz Miele, everybody. Make a lot of noise for Liz.
Unsure if I can live up to that. So, but thank you for your faith in what you think you're gonna see. Can I start complaining immediately? Great. I'm trying to date. I guess. I don't know. I just started online dating a month ago. Is every man's profile supposed to be the same? Is that the objective? This is every man's profile, by the way. I love the outdoors. You can find me outdoors. Weekends are spent out. It's like, what are you, a horse? Come on, dude, it's hot, and I just bought a couch. I'm looking for an indoor man. I'll be brutally honest. I've been single for about a year. I was with my ex for 4 years. So that's 5 years since I've been on a first date. And it's actually been 10 years since I've done online dating. And I wrongfully assumed that technology got better. I'd do some swipey swipes, and I'd be handed a platter of something decent. But I'm not getting decent, okay? So I'm 38 years old. I would say my man bracket is between 30, because like what? I shower. And 45, because we all get sad sometimes. And I am exclusively getting 45-year-old dudes that want to have kids someday. And am I wrong that my first thought is go fuck yourself? Why do men just get to saunter into fatherhood? If I have a biological clock, you should have a societal clock. Some shit does need to start early. Families, 401ks, and trees. Nobody wants your old, commitmentless sperm anywhere near them. Because how does this end? Realistically, how does this end? We get together, we have a child, 15 years later, I have to do the awkward sex talk and you get to be dead? Want to know the real reason I joined online dating? My cat died. I know, single for a year, fine, actually living my best life. And then my cat died. I got so sad that I was like, only a dick could fix this. Yeah, have you ever been so sad you lied to yourself? So in that sadness, I made a profile. I was on it for about a week, started to feel better, tried to delete it. Couldn't figure it out. I think it's like a gym membership. You can never get out of it. Try to know a little bit about my cat to understand her importance. Her name was Pasta. She was a legend. She was 16 years old, and she had cancer for the second time because she was very dedicated to dying. Yeah, she had cancer 5 years ago. I cured her, and she's like, I said what I said. 2 weeks before she died, I read an article about a cat that lived until 40. Never seen that in my life. I thought that was so cool. I started reading the article out loud to my cat. She started writing a suicide note in her letter. She's like, I put in the time. I'm not doing this with you anymore. So she's dead. 3 weeks after she died, I wrote an obituary. I have a lot of free time. I wrote this beautiful obituary. I found a bunch of cute pictures of her. It wasn't hard. She was a cutie. I took that obituary. I took all those pictures, and I put it online. And I have a fan base, and my fans were so nice. I got so many thoughtful messages, and it was actually quite cathartic. But then I got, like, another tier of message. I got a bunch of messages from thirsty dudes that thought this was their moment. That I was at the right level of vulnerability, that I might make a mistake. So I got a lot of messages that read something like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Here's my phone number if you need someone to talk to. What are we gonna talk about? It's a dead cat. My life's exactly the same. Nothing has changed since this cat died. Well, that's not true. She used to wake me up every night at 3 a.m. and now I'm getting the best sleep of my life. But that's where I get frustrated with men. There's no follow through in your thought process. Because yes, I am vulnerable, but it's not the right level of vulnerability because a cat is replaceable. You know how I know that? I already got another cat. I got a cat 2 weeks ago. It's so much better than my last cat. Oh, I the fucking best. So you gotta wait until something irreplaceable in my life dies. You gotta wait until my dad dies. Yeah, I don't know how to change my own tires. I'll fuck you then. Thank you. I know, you thought it was a dead cat joke. It was a dead dad joke the whole time. I need you to keep up, guys. I'll be honest, I did the apps for like a month and a half. It was bumming me out. And I told my buddy Prakash, I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's making me sad. He goes, let me see your transcripts. Let me see your man conversations. And just so you have a visual of what these conversations look like, the guy would be like, doot, doot. And then I'd be like, da-da-da. And then the guy would be like, doot. And then I'd be like, da-da-da. He's like, you're talking too much. I go, yeah, I talk too much. That's what I do. And why would I hide that from somebody I potentially want to be with? Also, can we be honest what men are doing? Can we be honest? All they do is ask you how your day is. That's all they do. And if you give me an essay-like prompt, I'm going to give you an essay-like response. I don't have to tell you. I live a dope life. I tour the world telling jokes. I don't give a fuck you're in finance. I had an awesome day. I bought a sweater and I want to talk about it. It gets worse. So, last guy I talked to before I deleted the app, he was covered in tattoos. Is that my brand? No, but I do like to color. So. He asked me how my day was, and on that particular day, I had just moved into my new apartment. And not just my new apartment, my own apartment. I've lived in New York City for 20, thank you so much for acknowledging what that means. I've lived in New York City for 20 years. I've always had 16, 17 roommates, the average amount of roommates. And now I live alone. I'm very excited. I'm also very scared. So I had a bed. I took that bed apart. I moved to my new place. And then I had to put that bed back together. Why do I have to start my new life doing a giant adult jigsaw puzzle? Why am I crying over nails and wood for 9 hours? Whatever, I put together what kind of looks like a bed. And then I had new sheets, new me, new place, new sheets. I put my new sheets on my bed. And the way my bed's set up is the headboard is a shelf. And my favorite thing I own is this robot lamp. So the body is a robot, the head is an Edison light bulb. And in making my bed, I somehow knock over this lamp. It shatters and explodes into a million tiny pieces. There's glass on the bed, on the floor, in my hair, in the other room. I'm like, fucking fuck, Liz. I'm not unmaking my bed. I'm not. I'm tired. I'm stubborn. I'm not unmaking my bed. So I start trying to pick the glass off my bed with my hands. I cut myself. I'm like, you fucking would. And now I have blood on my bed. Fine. I'm going to wash my sheets, right? That'll get the blood out. That'll loosen up the glass. I'm a genius. Don't get ahead of me. I put the sheets in the wash. It does a full cycle. I take it out. I immediately cut myself again. I was like, fuck, I invented murder sheets. I don't know what to do. I put it back in the wash. It does another cycle. I take it out. There's still glass. Now we have a song. I was like, murder sheets, murder sheets. What's she gonna do with her murder sheets? I'm losing my mind. Third time's a charm. It goes back in the wash. Another cycle. I take it out. There's no more glass, but it's too late. I wrote a one-woman show called Murder Sheets. Do you want to hear it? Murder Sheets is about a woman in her 30s. She lives in New York City. Maybe she does stand-up. Maybe this is about me. She is back on the prowl. She's putting herself out there. She's starting to have gentlemen callers. She's thinking maybe one of these gentlemen could be the one. So you know what? I'm going to bring my A game. And if I bring my A game, I expect them to bring their A game. So if I don't even get close to orgasming, Murder Sheets. Yeah, if you don't try, you're gonna die. This is the feminism your fathers warned you about. So, I murder my first man, now I have the taste of blood, now it's a monster story. I just start murdering men, just murder. Finally, I murder the wrong guy, he has a brother that kind of likes him, he does some CSI shit, it gets traced back to me. Now we're on trial, now it's like an Amber Heard, Johnny, I'm very famous in this scenario. Everybody's watching this trial, they're like, Liz Miele, she's so cute, she's so funny, there's no way she could do it. I get off scot-free, I'm very good at murder. But it's tarnished my reputation. People are like, I knew she was Italian, I didn't know she was that Italian. People are terrified. People stop coming out to shows. Stadiums are empty. I'm Kevin Hart in this scenario. Stadiums are empty. I don't know what to do. I don't have a backup plan. Finally, a guy approaches me with a book deal. He goes, hey, do you have a book inside you? I go, absolutely. He goes, what would you title this book? And I was like, I got it. I would never murder anybody, but if I did, it would be with sheets. Yes! National bestseller. 2 million copies sold. Yeah! I'm back, baby. People are still scared, but like murder podcast scared. They're excited. They're intrigued. Finally, tattoo guy writes me back, why didn't you just use a vacuum? Response are 2 correct responses. Ha ha ha, I would love to see your one-woman show, or I would always make you come. And then I deleted the app. I think this guy thinks I do murder. Is it coming across that I'm from New Jersey? Is that? Yeah, sorry. I don't know, man. I definitely think growing up in New Jersey ruined my personality. I think that's fair assessment. Actually, you know what I think really ruined my personality? I've had a car in New York City for 20 years. And it is as awful as you think it is. So if you don't know, the best way to get out of the city is the Holland Tunnel. I technically live 10 minutes from the Holland Tunnel. It has never taken less than an hour. I've left at 3 a.m. It still takes about an hour. So every time I leave the city, I give myself an absorbent amount of time. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm leaving the city to do a gig. I give myself so much time. But I am now in bumper-to-bumper traffic about 4 stoplights from the Holland. I've actually not moved from this specific stoplight in an hour. I'm losing my goddamn mind. Finally, I get to the front of the light. I can see where the traffic is about to break open. At that moment, some car out of nowhere does this crazy-ass move, is almost T-boning my car. We are making eye contact. I roll down the window, and I was like, no! No! My mother was driving this car. She got pregnant. She had a child, and I am that child. This is generational traffic. The fuck I'm going to let someone cut in front of me. And now we're dating. I know. They say you can't meet anybody in the real world, but have you really opened your heart to love? Sometimes when God closes a door, he opens a car window. Yeah, he's actually quite a generous lover. You wouldn't imagine it, but just because they don't know how to merge in the streets doesn't mean they don't know how to merge in the sheets. Yeah, that is the dumbest thing I've ever written. You tried to get on board and you're like, no, that's also 2 sheets jokes in a row. Nobody asked for that, Liz. Nobody wanted that. Nobody asked for that. All right. I have one more joke about a boy, and then we'll get off the topic. I think I went on a date. And if someone could tell me if I did, that would be great. Great. All right. I kind of knew this guy from work, and he had to drop something off at my apartment. So we're standing in my apartment. We're kind of making awkward small talk. And as we're talking, I just have this thought. I was like, I want this man in my apartment again. He matches my wallpaper. So I develop a little crush. A week later, I text him. I go, hey, man, I'm on the road right now, but when I get home, would you like to get coffee? He's like, I would love that. So I don't know anything about this man. I don't know anything about his status. But until we get more information, we're going to consider this a soft date. 2 days before this coffee date, he texts me. He goes, hey, I'm going to a party tonight. Do you want to come? Oh, this is so exciting. Right? He can't wait to get coffee. This is such a great sign. But just so we're all on the same page. No, I don't want to go to this party. At all. It's my only night off this week. I don't want to put on pants. I don't want to put on makeup. I don't want to leave my apartment. And I definitely don't want to go to a party. I'm almost 40. Who goes to parties? Gross. But I want this man to know I'm interested. So I put on pants. I put on makeup. I leave my apartment and I go to this party. We hang out all night. I only drink water. I bring up cats too much. He doesn't leave. It's going great. At the end of the night, I go, hey, man, do you want to walk me home? He goes, happy to. We start walking towards my apartment. We're like 3 blocks from my place. He turns to me and he goes, hey, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I should probably let you know I just started seeing someone. And I went, okay, I respect that. And I appreciate you telling me. And then he goes, but I really like you. And I was like, so what? Are you gonna put me on a waiting list? You're gonna give me one of those restaurant buzzers and it's gonna go off when things don't work out with this woman? Like, why the fuck would you tell me that? That's unnecessary information now, right? That'd be like if I went to a restaurant and I tried to order the steak and the waiter was like, hey, I'm so sorry, we ran out of the steak, but just to let you know, it's the best thing on the menu. That's unnecessary information. Worst part about it, the next day he texted me, he goes, hey, I had a really good time with you last night. I hope you didn't feel like it was a waste of your time. It was absolutely a waste of my motherfucker. Dude, I'm not 22 years old. I don't have hope. Come on, man. I now know a bunch of trivia about a man I'm never gonna fuck, and I put on pants for you. I hope he dies. Thank you. That's the response I wanted. Thank you so much. You know what my real hope with that joke is? Every time I tell it, like his ears start to buzz and his eyes start to bleed and he doesn't know why. Yeah, because I am this close to learning witchcraft, okay? I love wearing black. I just saw the show Wednesday. I bought a crystal. It was $30. You can't tell me that rock doesn't have powers for $30. $30? I'm going to unlock those powers, even if it's just throwing it at him. I am ready for witchcraft. Okay, moving on. You know how we lost our rights and stuff? Yeah, that's a setup. If you don't know what's happening, I'm not gonna educate anybody. Dude, after Roe vs. Wade got overturned, they pretty much told all women, didn't matter what state you lived in, they told all women you should delete your period apps because it's not covered under the HIPAA law. So if your phone gets confiscated, that information can be used against you, and or the fact that a lot of these apps sell your data and that data can be used against you. But it's like, come on, man. I paid $4.99 for that app. Right? I'm not gonna lose my rights and lose $5. That's a bad day. So I didn't delete it. I was pissed off. Instead, my compromise is I've just been saying I'm bleeding every day. Right? Because these people clearly don't understand how women's bodies work, so let's mucky up the water. Right? Someday somebody's gonna get my data and they're gonna be like, I mean, it looks right to me. Like Ted Cruz is gonna be like, yeah, my wife says she's bleeding every night too. I think we just can agree no matter what side you're on, he is the grossest man in the world. Somebody fuck that guy twice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make everybody vomit at once. I try not to be a cringe comic, but we gotta hope they're adopted, right? Like that's, all right, I'll leave it. I have one rule in my life. I have exactly one rule I tried to live by. I'm not allowed to do edibles. Yeah, I've had it for 10 years. I break it every year. The main reason for that rule is mental illness runs in both sides of my family. So when I freak out, on drugs, it is generations of paranoia. It is a family tree of conspiracy theories. It is a double helix of crazy. So it isn't like, oh no, the cops are coming. It's like, oh God, I think I started Scientology. So during the pandemic, I was still living with my roommates, and my roommate Chris, he's always been straight edge, never drank, never did drugs a day in his life, but I think the pandemic broke him, and he got super into edibles, like really into edibles. And he's a great guy. He's a great roommate. So every couple of days, he'd knock on my door, and he'd be like, hey, do you want to do edibles? And I'd be like, ooh, no, thank you. And then a couple more days would go by, and he'd be like, hey, drugs, us. And I'd be like, ooh, I'm good. And then a couple more days would go, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't have a job. Like, let's just have a different bad day. Like, why am I stopping this? But I wanted to be smart about it. It's never been fun. I wanted to have fun. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a leg of a gummy bear, right? I'm gonna do the smallest amount of drugs. I'm an adult, I can figure out this ratio. So I do a kneecap of a gummy bear. And then I was like, hey guys, we should watch a movie so I can't get lost in my crazy. So I chose the movie Cats. Yes, sober us knows that's a bad idea. We have to understand, none of us saw the movie. We all just knew it was a bad movie. But I thought it was gonna be like, ha-ha bad, but it wasn't. It was like, ah bad. It was so creepy. Okay, if you've never seen it, I only made it 10 minutes. I can only tell you the first 10 minutes. So essentially, it's a bunch of humans, and they were digitally made into felines, but I guess the producers never met a cat before. Because they have fingers and breasts and packages, and they're dancing, and they sing the whole time. And the only way to describe the music is spooky? Is this a Halloween film? I have no idea. 10 minutes into the movie, I turned to my roommates, and I was like, this is propaganda. They're like, what kind of propaganda? I was like, I'm not smart enough to know what kind of propaganda. I just know it's propaganda, and I don't want to watch it. They think I'm joking. I stand up, Chris puts his hand on my shoulder. I was like, you're propaganda. I ran to my room, I slammed the door, I lock it, I put a chair under it. I call my best friend Adrian. I go, hey, I am very high right now. I'm 90% sure I'm having a panic attack, and I'm 100% sure my roommate Chris is trying to kill me. She go, Chris? Like, you've lived with him for 10 years, Chris? And I was like, yeah, I think he's been playing the long game. She's like, okay. She's like, do you want me to come pick you up? I was like, no, man, that's how you get murdered. She's like, I don't think I understand the point of this phone call then. And I was like, dude, I think I have a plan, but I know I'm not in the best headspace. Can you listen to my plan? And if anything sounds problematic, will you let me know? She's like, fine. So I was like, all right. I'm gonna jump out the window. She's like, problematic, Liz! I go, no, I live on the first floor. I've kind of done it before. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna jump out the window. I'm gonna call Domino's. Whenever Chris gets high, he always calls Domino's. He won't even know he didn't call Domino's. Domino guy's gonna come. I'm gonna stab him. She's like, what? I was like, dude, everybody in New York City gets stabbed. He's fine. My parents are veterinarians. I won't hit a major organ. I'm gonna put on his uniform. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna ring the doorbell. Chris is gonna be so excited about pizza. He won't recognize it's me. And then I'm gonna stab Chris. She's like, problematic, Liz! And then she's like, wait, are you writing this down? I go, yeah, every great plan starts with the written word. She goes, yeah, but where are you writing it down? I was like, oh, in the notes app on my phone. She's like, no, you're not. I was like, what? She's like, dude, you wrote it on Facebook. And you tagged Chris. Dude, he's been knocking on my door for an hour. This makes so much sense. She's like, Liz, let him in. I was like, no, I owe him rent. It's so scary out there. Then I moved out 3 weeks later. Don't solve your problems, guys. You could ghost anybody. It doesn't just have to be boys you sleep with. You can ghost a roommate. That's my advice for 2023. Just one guy being like, I didn't know you could do ghosting like that. That is crazy. Look at her take ghosting to the next level. I feel bad. Me and Chris lived in this apartment building for 10 years. And this is honest to God, the truth. And I think most of you will relate with it. Clap if you live in an apartment building. That should be most of us, right? Okay. Clap if you live in a house. Do we have billionaires in the audience? What is that? Are you from Connecticut? That whole row just was like, oh, we're gonna get robbed. This is crazy. Fuck. Wow, look at you. Did you save it, or did you are you squatters? Wow, okay, well this joke isn't for you. This joke is for everybody else. This is true, and I know this is relatable. Me and Chris lived in this apartment building for 10 years. We lived on the first floor. We never had a reason to go. We never went to the second floor. There was no reason to go to the second floor. So I can only tell you what I think my neighbors were doing. So what it sounded like every night between 2 and 5 a.m. is that they would pick up all their furniture. And they'd be like, oh my God, this is so heavy, and they drop it. And then be like, well, you're never gonna get swole, you're never gonna make gains if you don't try. So they pick it all back up again, and they'd be like, nah, it's still heavy, and they drop it. And then they had a bunch of kids they hated, and they throw them against the wall, and they would scream cries, they slid. What the fuck was going on? It was the craziest sounds for 10 years. And then finally, I moved to this new apartment building, and it's serene. It's quiet. I mean, there's still cars in the front. Yeah, you can still hear traffic. But the back, where my bedroom is, it's overlooking my neighbor's garden. There's birds. Did you know we have birds in New York City? I mean, maybe it's a rat with wings. It doesn't matter. That's technically a bird. Dude, every morning, me and my cat open up the window. I was like, is that a cricket? We should Google this. Nature is healing. This is crazy. It was awesome. Until about 2 weeks ago, I was woken up super early in the morning to loud rhythmic screeching above my bed. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I stay in a lot of hotels. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I was like, oh, I know that neighbor. Eric got a girlfriend. Good for him, all right? But then it went on for an hour. It went on so long that I was like, ooh, Eric. I didn't know. I'm blushing at the mailboxes. I was like, I didn't know. But then the next day, same time for an hour. And then the next day, same time for an hour. And then the next day, same time for an hour. And finally, I was like, it's gotta be like a bike, right? It's gotta be like an elliptical, a bike. It's gotta be some kind of machinery. So like I said, I know Eric. He's super nice. I'm nice. I have his email. I mean, I recorded it because I'm that bitch. But still, I'm gonna write a nice email. So I was like, hey, Eric. I don't know if you got a bike or a girlfriend, whatever you're writing. But this is what I'm hearing every morning. Do you think you could put a rug under your girlfriend? Yeah, he wrote back. It's an elliptical they do sex stuff on. So, yeah, I just asked if I could borrow it. It's called Community, guys. Wipe down your machines. You don't know what people are doing. Yo, things are getting crazy at Peloton. They are not doing well. I believe that I can be happy for about 10 days in a row. That's about my max, and then something breaks it. Does anybody feel like they can be happier longer than 10 days in a row? Really? Really? Okay, you clapped in the back. How many days in a row do you think you can be happy?
Always.
Always? Okay, if you say Jesus is the reason, you get kicked out. Just so we're clear. I'm not denying that you can be happy every day, but if Jesus is involved, you have to leave. How many days did you say? Every single day you said you could be happy? Okay, that's nuts. But that's crazy. But you're onto something and I'm wrong. Does anybody have a realistic number of days? Like 10 doesn't seem long enough, but 365 is a mental illness. We can agree. Like, you're doing great, but it's gonna come crashing and burning at some point. Just so we're all clear. Does anybody have like a month or 2 months? Yeah? How many days in a row do you think you can be happy? 11 days. All right. Look at you. You're like, I'm not the happiest person, but I'm definitely happier than this bitch. All right. 11 days in a row. What would you say makes you happy?
I fucked up and exposed like a government. So.
You fucked up and exposed the government? Do you think this is the time at the taping to put that out there? Are you like, this is my last moment before I go to jail? Or are you like hiding? Should we get a spot? Yeah, get a camera on him. I just like, I want to be like Hannibal. Let's make history. I don't think I want to hear the whole story. I know. Okay, so you feel like you did something good for the government or for the people? For the women. Okay, cool. Let's go simpler. Like a smoothie? What makes you happy on like a smaller basis?
Write books.
You write books. Okay, so you write books, so you're like an artist. You're like living your dream and stuff.
No, the book is about exposing the government.
I know it's a long story, and I regret talking to you. You're great. I think I'm proud of the work you did, but I'm gonna pretend this never happened. Anybody that has smaller dreams and goals that feel they can use to keep them happy, let's say in the I like my wife phase of their life, or I have a dog that is nice to me. Does anybody feel like they can be happier longer than 10 days? Yeah, in the back? Do you feel like you can be?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, all right, that's good.
You start a cycle and then you break it.
You start a cycle and then you break it. Okay, so let's start with what would you say makes you happy in your happy cycle? Don't say anything about the government. So let's keep it simple.
Queens resident that moved to Jersey.
Queens resident that moved to Jersey. So you're just like finding out about like houses and turnpikes and you're like, did you guys know?
No more nightmares about alternate side parking.
No more nightmares about, oh, you have a parking spot. I didn't know you were gonna come here with shade. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have a parking spot? Okay, so you live in Jersey now. I grew up there. You'll learn that it's not that great. Give me one more normal thing that makes you happy.
Yard space with a dog.
Yard space with a dog. What a great normal answer. Okay, so what would break your happiness? Let's go there.
Can't buy a beer after like 10 p.m.
Can't buy a beer after 10 p.m. So you're learning about New Jersey. Okay, all right. So you can't buy a beer after 10 p.m. Give me another thing that would break your happiness.
I guess also can't go to a venue within like 40 miles.
Can't go to a venue within 40 miles. So New Jersey, you just found out about you're like, I'm happy because of New Jersey, but New Jersey also has hurt me. So, all right. I'm gonna be honest with both of you. It used to be 3 days. That used to be like my max number of happiness, and then I couldn't handle it. And then I think like therapy and just getting old, it's about 10 days. But what breaks my happiness is not what you think. It's not like an unexpected bill. It's not even like a tragedy. It's always something that should work that isn't working. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a train schedule. Like, what are we doing? Like, trains have been around since before all of us were born. How have we not figured out? Okay, I moved to this new apartment, all right? And everything's going, I'm so happy. I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am. And then very quickly, I start to notice I'm not getting most of my packages. We know how packages work, right? You give a corporation money, you expect stuff back. I'm not getting my stuff, and life is hard. I want my stuff. In the beginning, it's not important. It's like toothpaste. Like I should have just left the house and bought it like a person. Like, I get that. That's on me. But eventually they lost something expensive. They lost something important. they lost my wallpaper. I didn't want to say it. I'm doing awesome. I have wallpaper money now. Like, seriously, like, yeah. I don't know you. It has tigers on it. Is that how you would spend your money? Probably not. But if I'm going to die alone, it's going to be with tigers on my wall. I was so excited. It was so expensive. And then they fucking lost it. And I don't know if you've ever called like UPS or FedEx. They act like you called the wrong number. They're like, what? And you're like, I'm missing a package. And they're like, so? And you're like, dude, it's your only job. You don't make anything. You don't save anybody. All you're supposed to do is deliver shit, and you don't even do that well. And they're like, fine. Do you want to file a report? I go, why? I filed dozens of reports. I don't know if you write it on toilet paper and wipe your ass with it, but I actually don't understand the point of a report. I want Rhonda. She's like, who's Rhonda? I was like, extension 242. I fucking love Rhonda. Do you guys know Rhonda? Dude, if you don't know Rhonda, she's incredible. We make fun of the driver. She tells me about her kids, only the ones she likes, and she has found every package. She's amazing. So they transfer me to Rhonda, and she goes, hey, honey, how can I help you? I go, Rhonda, they finally lost something important. She's like, ugh, what did they lose? And I was like, they lost my wallpaper. And she's like, sweetie, you got wallpaper money now? I'm so proud of you. I was like, thank you, Rhonda. I've been working really hard this year. She's like, sweetie, don't fret. We're going to find it. So she does her clicky thing. She's like, click, 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 click. Oh. And then she's like, click, 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 click. Oh. And I was like, what's oh? And she's like, honey, you ain't getting this wallpaper. I was like, Rhonda. She's like, don't you yell at me. I'm your only friend. I was like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. She's like, sweetheart, I'm looking at it. It looks really convoluted. I don't have a lot of hope. I'll keep looking, but I'm not sure. And I was like, okay. Tell Marshall I heard he got on a roll, and I'll call you next week. I'm not gonna yell. She's my only friend. She's not wrong. I'm not gonna yell at her. But I'm mad. I can't think straight. And I know it's stupid, but I'm trying to solve a problem. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call the wallpaper people. So I call the wallpaper people. They're incredible. They're like, we're gonna reprint it, reship it, no cost. You think the story's over, right? I'm gonna get my wallpaper. There's no financial liability. Cannot let it go. I'm sitting on my couch looking at my tigerless walls, and I cannot let it go. And I'm in therapy. Obviously, it's not working, but still, my therapist would tell me to go for a walk. She'd be like, don't make a decision angry, go for a walk. So I put on my shoes, I go outside, I start walking. I'm like, this is stupid. It's just paper. What do we do? There's so many problems in the world. This is not a big one. And then I see a UPS truck. I'm like, they'll kill your family. You sit on a truck bed of lies? I'm crazy. And you know why I'm crazy? Because this is my life every 3 days. Every 3 days, I become an investigative journalist. I'm interviewing my neighbors. I'm crawling on porches. I'm climbing over fences. I'm taking water samples. I am the Aaron Brockovich of the UPS. I've started a whole new Law and Order branch, Law and Order Shipping and Handling. And what do I get for this effort? Stress. And you know what stress turns into? Cancer. I get 0.05% cancer every time I have to talk to UPS, and at the end of my life, I'm sending them an invoice. Yeah, I'm gonna invoice them for all my chemo, and they're gonna get it, and they're gonna be like, did she work for us? I'll be like, yes, talk to Rhonda. She was my supervisor. She was incredible. They're like, best we can do is send a casket. Oh, don't worry, it never arrives. I have like 14 more jokes. Hang in there, guys. I'm happy to be here. I know I've yelled at you guys the whole time. I really am. I'm honestly, this is like my favorite thing to do. I love traveling. I like performing. I like meeting new people. It's my favorite thing. I don't know. I'll go anywhere once, right? I'll go anywhere once. So like I went to Peoria, Illinois this year. That was enough. We don't need to do that again. And if you're like, hey Liz, what's in Peoria? Nothing. There's nothing. They had one coffee shop. It was open for 35 minutes. I never woke up in time. They don't have Uber. They didn't have Uber. Everybody has a guy with a truck. How do you not have Uber? I was losing my mind. I'm freaking out. I feel so isolated. I call my little sister. She's like, all right, describe Peoria. I was like, all right, opening scene of Wall-E. I'm the robot. Trash is everywhere. No one's around. So keep all of this in mind when I tell you this story. So the last big tour I did right before the pandemic, I did a tour all over Pakistan. And this isn't even about Pakistan. Pakistan was awesome. It was one of the coolest tours I've ever done. This is about trying to get to Pakistan. It was the hardest place I ever tried to get to. In most countries, it's just not a big deal. Like you go to Belgium, they're like, take a waffle, come back when you like. Where are you going? We love you. It's like not a problem. Some countries make you pay a little bit of money to do your ha-has. And some countries make you jump through a lot of hoops to perform in their country, and that was Pakistan. It was the most paperwork I ever had to do. I didn't understand it. The booker had to help me. And the final part of the process, I had to go to the Pakistani embassy, leave my passport there for 2 weeks. Once it was approved, then I came in for an interview. After the interview, if it was approved, then I could tour Pakistan. And I was like, hey guys, if you want to be a tourist destination, let's loosen it up a little bit. This feels excessive. So, I don't know if you've ever been to the Pakistani embassy. Highly recommend it. Great tourist attraction. Best way to describe it is it's just a man wearing sandals, looking like he's waiting for the bus. There's nothing official about this building. I hand that man my passport, he leaves it on the table. I was like, we don't want to put it in a cabinet or anything? He's like, no. I was like, dude, I have anxiety. Like, I don't like that I'm away from my passport right now. Now I have to leave it with Sandal Guy for 2 weeks? I'm not okay. I kiss my passport and I go home and have a panic attack. 2 weeks go by, they call me up, they're like, you're approved, come in for the interview. So I come in for the interview, I sit on a bench for like a half hour, this guy comes out, hands me a passport. It's not my passport. I go, hey man, this isn't my passport. He's like, it is. No man, this isn't my passport. He's like, it is. Is this gaslighting? I've never been gaslit before. This is so exciting. Thank you for the privilege. No, man, this isn't my passport. He's like, it is. I was like, dude, she's like 55 years old. That's not my name. That's not my face. That's not my an angel out of nowhere. She's like, let's fix this. She runs off, and she's gone for 45 minutes. And I proceed to lose my cool. I've been in therapy for 10 years. We lost all that work. I'm texting my therapist. I was like, we have to start from the beginning. I've lost my cool. 45 minutes go by. She comes out. She hands me a passport. This time it is my passport. So I was like, okay. So now we do an interview. She's like, no interview. I go, but I'm supposed to have an interview. She's like, no interview. Can I still go to Pakistan? She's like, you can. Okay, but I'm supposed to have an interview. She's like, no interview. Is this like a psychological test? Is this like Big Brother Pakistan? What is happening? Fast forward, 2 weeks go by, we land in Pakistan, same kind of situation. So most countries are like stamp, stamp, have a good time. Not Pakistan, they go through every piece of paperwork and they have a lot of questions. So the final part of my paperwork is my show poster. So Passport Control's holding my show poster and he's like, is that you? I go, yeah, that's me. He goes, that's you. And I go, yep, that's me. He's like, that's you. I was like, yeah, man, I'm not the two black guys. Like, it has to be me. What's the problem? He goes, oh, doesn't look like you. Yeah, okay, all right. Let me tell you about this picture. The woman in this picture slept in a bed for 8 hours. God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever I believed in that day, possessed my hands. I did 2 of the best makeup cat eyes I've ever done. I did it tonight. That side's awesome. This side sucks. They never match. But that day they were perfect. And I had big curly hair. Humidity didn't exist that day. My curls cascaded against my face like I was a princess. I walked into a room with some of the best lighting that has ever been put together. A man took my picture and made me feel beautiful because I fucking paid him to. And that is what you're looking at. Do you know what you're looking at right now? I slept on a plane. And then 15 hours later, I woke up in Pakistan. What? He was like, stamp, stamp, I hope you get food poisoning, and I did. Don't fuck with Passport Control, guys. They fuck with you back. That's how it works. I am the second oldest of 5 kids. I helped raise my little brothers. They didn't turn out well. I was 9. I take no responsibility. I don't know if you've ever met somebody that's raised their siblings. They're not okay. I can't seem to let go of being an older sister. Like, I just bring, like, mom put me in charge energy to every conversation. It's not great. Nobody's like, ooh, a boss bitch, and it's a Saturday. What a fun vibe you're bringing to this party, Liz. I'm not fun. I don't do fun. The other thing I noticed is if I'm talking to somebody new and we're not getting along, 90% of the time, they are the baby of the family. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, I'm talking to this guy. It's not going well. Turns out he's the baby of 5. I was like, oh, you would? He was honest, though. He was like, you know what? He's like, I am my mom's favorite. But it's not that great. He's like, you have to understand, by the time my parents had me, they were tired. They weren't excited. He's like, dude, when I rode a bike for the first time, nobody cared. I was like, wait, I don't care. Because it's not a full perspective. It doesn't take into account everything your older siblings have done for you. All the sacrifices. Yes, your life is boring, but you get to do what you want. Nobody dude, I am the Rosa Parks of my family. Is that coming across? And everybody forgets their history. Like my little sister, she brought home her first boyfriend, and they slept in the same bed. Yeah, I annoyed the Catholicism out of Dad so she could have a nice Christmas. Does anybody remember when I brought my first boyfriend home? He slept in the basement on an air mattress. And you want to know where he is now? I don't know. He never came back. My baby brother smokes. Do we understand the significance of that? He smokes. Nobody bothers him. Nobody gives him a hard time. I mean, he actually vapes now, which is kind of a compromise because he doesn't shower and he kind of smells like strawberries. But we kind of love that he vapes. I don't know. I've never vaped. He always smells like fruit, and I wanted to try it, all right? So I took an inhale, and as I exhaled, my mom walked into the kitchen, and she's like, Elizabeth. I was like, what? She goes, you smoke? I go, no, I was just trying it. She goes, you can't smoke. I was like, Sam smokes every day. She goes, yes, but you need to set an example. I was like, he's almost 30. Fucking when does it end? I have a niece. Her name is Scout, which I think we can all agree is both a great name and a dog's name. Scout's great, by the way. She's 5 years old, and a couple of weeks ago, me and Scout attended my little brother's birthday party, and Scout wanted to sit next to me at dinner. And I don't know if you have nieces and nephews, but when they like you more than your siblings, it's the best feeling. Honestly, I'll fight for that feeling her entire life. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna buy her candy, I'm gonna buy her drugs, I'm gonna do whatever it takes for her to like me more than my sister. So, we're at dinner, we're having a great conversation, we're talking about unicorns, we're talking about the war in Ukraine. She's so smart. And out of nowhere, she turns to me and she goes, Grandma says you're getting another cat. What are you gonna name this cat? Great question, Scout. This is why we're best friends. Before I can answer, she goes, I think you should name it Cakey. All right, a little bit of context. Do you guys remember what my first cat's name was? Pasta, excellent. Do you guys remember what my second cat's name was? Tater Tots. Tater Tots. Where are we? We're nowhere. Okay, that side is like, no thank you. Yes, Tater Tots, great job. All right, I'm gonna share something personal. I'm gonna share something a little vulnerable. I need you to stay focused. A month after I got Tater Tots, he died. No, you can't be sad, I'm sad. The only reason I'm sharing this is I can't have a room full of people think I have 16 cats. We're at 0 cats at this point in the story. The other pertinent information you should gather is first cat's named after food, second cat's named after food. So when Scout suggests Cakey, that's a great suggestion. That's on-brand naming for Aunt Liz. She's so fucking smart. But I go, hey, sweetheart, I'm going rogue. I'm going off-brand. I'm actually gonna name my next cat Revenge Abs. And she responded similarly because she's a child, so now I have to explain revenge and abs to a 5-year-old. So I was like, all right, Scouty Bear, someday someone's gonna hurt you, and you're gonna do whatever it takes in your free time to ruin this person's life. That's revenge. Also, someday you'll get older, life will get hard, you'll start to lose the will to live, and you're gonna have to make a very important decision. Are you gonna try to develop a stronger, better, more resilient personality, or are you just gonna try to develop stomach muscles? And there's only 2 types of people that ever develop stomach muscles. The people who are genetically predisposed and they barely even try, and the people that go to the gym too much and like eat powder or whatever. I don't know what the powder is, I just know it's super important, so let's put it together. Someday, someone's gonna hurt you, and you're gonna do whatever it takes in your free time to develop stomach muscles in the hopes that it ruins their life. And that's what I'm gonna name my cat. And she was like, I think you should name it Cakey. Because she's smarter than me, guys. I want to tell you a story, but I have to preface it a little bit. If you have not enjoyed the show, this will explain why. And if you have enjoyed the show, you might not come back. That's all I'm going to say. I talked about it earlier. I've been single for a bit now. I've been single for almost 2 years, and I've made little to no effort. And the first year was because I was sad. And I've really learned as I've gotten older that I date very different people when I'm sad than when I'm happy. I kind of equate it to the adage of you shouldn't go grocery shopping when you're hungry because you make a lot of unnecessary Oreo choices. And I would like to date the equivalent of kale, right? I want to have sex with kale. I deserve to have sex with kale. So I try to heal myself. I try to feel better. And once I feel better, that's when I start to date. So this last time, it took about a year. And right as I felt like I was ready to date, my cat died. And as you know, her name was Pasta. She was 16 years old. And around the time I got Pasta is when I met one of my best friends. I met my friend Prakash. And there's really only 3 things you need to know about Prakash. The first thing is that he is a professional magician, which is not a job. It's not a job. I bring joy and laughter into the world. What does he bring? Mystery? Nobody needs that, Prakash. Nobody wants that. Second thing you need to know about Prakash is he owns a lot of taxidermy. Like a lot of taxidermy. We know what taxidermy is, right? Pets for people that forget to feed them. Yeah, you walk into his apartment, it's all old books and dead things. I don't know why he's the vibe of a witch, but I've accepted it. Third thing you need to know about him is he is an incredible friend. He's a great friend. He's an even better gift giver. He's given me so many thoughtful gifts in our 20-year friendship that it's actually made me up my gift. I'm trying to say I bought him a lot of dead things. So many dead things. 'Cause it's an easy gift. I know he's gonna like it. So a couple of years ago, I was touring in Richmond, Virginia. It was his birthday. I went into a taxidermy shop. There was a toad. It was $20. It was in my budget. It had googly eyes, and I was like, fuck it. And then I had to ride a train for 4 hours, and I didn't want it to get smushed, and now I'm nervously petting a toad. Did you know they're soft? They're so soft. Nobody tells you. They're always hopping. It was so soft. And then I gave it to him, and he loved it. He smiled for like 10 minutes. You know how men can't feel after 13? I made a grown man smile with a dead toad. I did that. So around the time we became friends is when I got my cat, and almost immediately he was like, when Pasta dies, we should taxidermy her. And I was like, absolutely not. No. And because Prakash is Prakash, every year on her birthday, he'd call me up and be like, she's 1 year closer to being taxidermied. I can't wait for her to be on my shelf. Go fuck yourself, Prakash. He did it for years. He did it for 11 years to be exact, and then she got cancer and it got too real for him. But honestly, I'm very fortunate. Both my parents are veterinarians. They did whatever medical magic they do, and she ended up being fine. But she was sick long enough, and she was getting older, that it did start to make me think, maybe. I don't know. I'm an organ donor. When I die, take my liver, live your best liver life. I don't need it anymore. And that's starting to be how I feel about my cat. We have so many memories. We have so many pictures. If I could make an Indian man happy, why wouldn't I do that? But I didn't tell him, right? I didn't know how I was actually going to feel when she died, so I didn't tell him. But I started to think about it. Because I started to think about it, I started to do research. And I don't know if you've ever been on a taxidermy website. You really don't. Whoever you think does taxidermy, you're right. Yeah. It's absolutely a man in his 40s that looks like he also kills people. Yeah, he has a website. And it's definitely a woman in her 60s that you can tell her kids don't call her back and she's wearing too many necklaces. She also has a website. Neither have been updated since 1999. And there are so many dead things on it. And you learn something very quickly from these websites, which is when somebody taxidermies a wild animal, think a duck, a deer, a fox, they look pretty good. Because somebody killed that fox on its best fox day. It was out there foxing, doing whatever foxes do, and somebody cut that life short. And they look pretty good. When somebody taxidermies a pet, like a cat or a dog, it don't look right. Dude, they look like gremlins. It looks like Pet Cemetery came to life. They're so creepy because nobody kills their pet on its bed. You don't pick it up from the groomers and go, you gotta die today if you want to look good forever. No, you wait until they're dying, and that's what they look like, man. They look like death. And I was like, no. That maybe turned into a no. So during the pandemic, my little brother, he got into like woodworking and blacksmithing, and he started to make these incredible lamps. And because we're animal people, they're all like bug and animal themed. So he made like this dung beetle lamp was like a metal beetle, and it was pressing like a round Edison light. This is dung. Is that coming across? Okay, great. And then he made like a squid lamp. It looked like that. I don't really have a budget. I took an acting class when I was 20, and this is what you get. That's a squid. They made a spider lamp. It looks like that. I'm giving him no. These were beautiful lamps. All right. And we were on the phone one day, and he goes, "Hold on, Dad's calling." So he gets back on the phone, and I was like, "What did Dad want?" He's like, he saw a dead deer on the side of the road, and he asked me if I wanted it. I was like, "What? Why would you want that?" He's like, "I don't know. I was thinking about making a lamp out of it." Dude, just get friends. Like, you could just have friends. Like, why is that not enough? I was so grossed out. So what he ended up doing is he let the body decompose, then he cleaned the bones, and he restructured them in like a unique way. So it was like a skull with a light under it, and then he made the vertebrae almost like a question mark, and in between each vertebrae, he put like a skinny Edison light. It was pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know. We don't know any wizards. I don't know who's gonna buy this lamp, all right? But I can tell you aesthetically, I was looking at it and I was so blown away that I was like, maybe pasta could be a lamp. I told nobody. So fast forward, Pasta's 16 now. She has cancer again. It's very obvious that she's dying. And my parents retired during the pandemic, and they're like, go to Jersey, go to somebody we know. And I don't know if you've ever had to put a pet down before, but it's the worst, right? Like, there's so many people I'd rather kill than my cat right now. I could name 50 without even hesitating. Also, she sucked, by the way. She was like but she was my to keep her. I was so sad. So I go to this woman that's probably known me since I was 10 years old. She puts my cat to sleep. I'm holding her in my arms. And she goes to take the body, and I was like, I want to keep the body. And she's like, what? And I was like, can I keep the body? And she was like, for what purposes? And I was like, do I have to answer that question? And she said, legally no. And then we just stared at each other for a while. And finally, she was like, I'll get you a trash bag. And I put my cat in a trash bag, and I drove back to New York. And Pasta died 3 days after I moved into my new place. So I'm walking up to my apartment building, and my downstairs neighbor who I've never met is there, and my across the hall neighbor who I've never met is there, and I'm holding a dead cat. Like, just so aware. And also, I'm gross. I've been crying for days. I'm splotchy. I'm nasty. And these women are being so nice. They're like, hey, I heard you just moved into the building. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, how's it going? And I was like, great. I think they think I just got divorced and it wasn't my choice. I'm not okay. But they keep making small talk and looking at the bag. And they keep making small talk and then they're looking at the bag. And they keep making small talk and then they're staring at the bag. And I freak out and I was like, ah! I ran to my apartment. I threw my cat in the freezer and she stayed there for 8 months. Yeah, that wasn't the plan, by the way. I wasn't like, I need more time. It was the pandemic. There were all these new variants. And next thing you know, I haven't seen my brother for 8 months. And it changed my relationship to my cat, man. Dude, I have a tiny New York City freezer. She took up the whole freezer. Every time I went to get a snack, there she was. I was like, pistachio ice cream, that was your favorite. Chicken, you always loved chicken. Every time I got an ice cube, I accidentally high-fived my cat. It wasn't good for my mental health. 3 months into this ordeal, my friend Carmen, she wants to come over. She wants to see my place. So we're hanging out. At some point, I go to the bathroom, I come out, and as I'm exiting, I see her heading towards the freezer to get ice, and it's too late. She opens up the freezer, and she's like, what's that? And I was like, you remember pasta? She's like, yeah, but why is she in your freezer? And I was like, I was gonna make a lamp out of her. Okay. No further questions. But she was like, can I give you some life advice? And I was like, yeah, man. desperately could use some life advice. She was like, I don't think you should date until you get your cat out of your freezer. And I just got my cat out of my freezer, guys. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, let's do this first.
Yeah. Whoa! Wow. Where'd you find this?
Just open it. And then this is just a travel.
That's pretty great.
It's pasta.
You're kidding!
That's pasta.
You're kidding! Get the fuck out of town! Is that actually true?
Yeah, it's pasta.
Wow! You actually did it? You fucking did it! That's amazing!
Yeah, it took a long time.
Really?
Yeah, because we had to let the... I wrote an 11-minute joke about this whole process.
No wonder you didn't want to tell me what the joke was before. That's fucking awesome!
You like it?
Yeah, I really do.
Alright, I was really nervous.
I liked it. I would like it very much if it was just a skull. You know?
And now, that was, yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for watching over my baby.
What a fucking kicker, dude.
Let me turn this off.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm glad you like
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, of course. So hard being a pet owner?
The thing is, you can actually, if technically, depending on how you look at him, he's a little cockeyed.
Yeah,
But-
but maybe he was like that in real life.
Probably, no, I doubt that. but I like the fact that he's quite cockeyed.
Come to my show. It's a rocking good time.